Hello, my name is Klaus Riehm. I'm working as a pre-sales engineer at SAP, and I have the pleasure to talk about our upcoming version, Beefalo, and brand new functionality we will release with this new version. And well, let's start just with the little entry point. Normally, if you would like to know what's new in a version, you start to have a look at the release notes, and well, that's also something that is available in our wiki. Everybody of you, I think, is already familiar with our wiki page with all the concentrated documentation, the technical documentation, and whatever you need. And if you look at the documentation, there's still the release notes of our old crawler, because Beefalo currently is still in the beta phase. So we are talking to beta customers, getting feedback, and trying to get the best quality of our product. But however, the release notes are already available in draft. If you just go to the search engine, release notes, Beefalo, here you can see we already have the release notes. They are all almost finished, still a little bit in progress, however, almost finished. And from here you have all the entry points to the documentation if you need to know the technical background of specific new features. Yeah, that's just the entry point. However, if you listen to my presentation carefully, you will know what is new in the new version, Beefalo. What's the hottest news of our new version? What is important for us and for the market and our business? There's really a lot in this new version, but the most important topics are on this slide. So the first thing is that we have now an integration of the HPE StoreOnce. You know that StoreOnce is a deduplication appliance, and we can talk to this appliance and write data to this appliance, and we have now integrated also the catalyst to write to the StoreOnce. I will talk about this in a minute a little bit more. Then we have a Proxmox, which is a new hypervisor. As you all know, SAP has a focus on providing backup support for almost every hypervisor which is available out there. So we have now added Proxmox to this broad list already. Then we have the Citrix hypervisor. You might know the old name, Citrix Xen Server. However, Citrix has renamed their hypervisor to have it more market-like, I would say. So it's now called Citrix Hypervisor. And we have a very good module for Citrix, and we have even it was almost unique with our incremental backup, what we can do already with the native CPT interface. We have enhanced the functionality by a single file restore functionality, and that's kind of a unique selling point, I guess, for all our Citrix installed base and also for new customers for us using Citrix Hypervisor. Yeah, then the next thing is talking about our GUI. There's a brand new look and feel. There have been a couple of topics we had to address, especially the resolution topics of the new monitors and screen having 4K resolution, and our GUI was not really feasible for these new high resolution displays, so we had to do something, and we really reviewed all the dialog boxes and all the view sheets and tabs, and I will show you also in a live demo how it will look like now. It's more modern, more comfortable, more easy to use. And this is something which is very, very brand new, that we have some Office 365 support. That's definitely one really strong requirement from the market. I will talk about our brand new solution later on at the end of this presentation. So the overview of the total functionality which is new in this version. I will not go to all the details now. This is all what we have new, brand new in our new version. So let's start with the HPE StoreOnce Catalyst integration. Now, the basis for this implementation is that we have a brand new strong HPE partnership now, in addition to all the other partnerships we have already in place. And this is very valuable also for HPE as well. That, for instance, we have a strong SAP partnership, and HPE is very strong in the SAP market. I guess it's the market leader for selling servers in the SAP environments, and so they are definitely in need of a strong partner for backup who covers the complete SAP portfolio with all their agents and certifications. And these are topics we have talked already a lot in older versions as well, but this is now the motivation why HPE is having this kind of partnership with us, getting stronger and stronger. Yeah, then they have the data protector. You know, the data protector once has been the OmniBack tool delivered by HP, but this has now been sold and outsourced to Micro Focus. HPE no longer is bound to this product, so they can really act with new partnerships at the market, and we think that we are really a very good replacement for Data Protector, and we have a lot of projects already in place replacing Data Protector, and we see that we can really act as a good replacement with our broad support matrix we have, with our good and flexible pricing, and with our really up-to-date support matrix, which Data Protector customers are a little bit missing from Micro Focus now. So also the topic is that we are a German company. You know the GDPR topic. We can guarantee that we do not have backdoors, which is very valuable in the European market, especially in the public sector. And this is something where HPE is also very strong. So this is a very good combination to work with HPE. Yeah, and then of course it's valuable for HPE that we are spending resources, that we do a integration into the HPE portfolio, so that we really enhance the value of the HPE hardware and help selling HPE hardware by integrating some functionalities like the Catalyst to sell StoreOnce. So this is also very valuable for HPE. That's the kind of a collection of the reasons why we have this strong partnership with HPE, and it's getting stronger and stronger. So talking about the StoreOnce, everybody of you, I guess, knows already that there are lots of deduplication appliances out there. You know, Data Domain, you know, the Quantum DXi or the Fujitsu CS800, or also the HPE StoreOnce. These are all kind of deduplication appliances. And to store data to these appliances, there are different interfaces. You can use the fiber channel or iSCSI interface and then write to a VTL, or you can use it as a NAS device, writing via CIFS or NFS, and then it's just a backup target for us. It's just mounted as a NAS device, and we can write data to it, and the deduplication is completely transparent to the backup software. However, you have to transport the complete data to the appliance, and the deduplication takes place on the appliance itself. So therefore, we have this module called Catalyst. This is kind of an interface which makes it possible to put the workload of the deduplication from the appliance to the backup server or the RDS, which is now able to do the deduplication on the backup server side, which means that you really can reduce the amount of data you have to transport to the StoreOnce appliance. And this helps a lot in optimizing your bandwidth and getting performance, because you have to transmit less data. And so there are a lot of Catalyst features, and we support a lot of them. It's a full list. We don't have to go through all these items. However, the most important things are the HPE certification. We are currently in the certification process together with the HPE lab in Houston, so that we are part of the HPE support matrix with our Catalyst implementation. That's currently going on. And also we have implemented the VMware single file restore and instant recovery, which means if you store VMware virtual machines on the StoreOnce, it is possible to use the file system interface, this virtual file system interface, to really mount the VMDK files and browse in this mounted backup which in fact is stored on the StoreOnce. So this helps definitely a lot if these kind of functionality, which are available on native disk storage as well as our own SI3 deduplication, is now also available on the StoreOnce as well. And there are a couple of StoreOnce features that you can add users and permissions, encryption, switch on encryption, or use bandwidth limitations and functionality like that. You can all use them and configure them on the StoreOnce. It's completely transparent to the backup software. They will all be used and are in place, and these are additional functionalities you can use with this combination. Yeah, so bandwidth optimization through data reduction by putting off the workload to the backup server or RDS. This is very, very helpful in distributed environments with branch offices and so on. Yeah, talking about virtual environments. You know that we already have a lot of modules supporting lots of hypervisors out there at the market. VMware, everybody supports VMware. We do the same. We support Hyper-V and also the Citrix hypervisor, as I've told you. You can see that there is also the XCP-ng mentioned. This is kind of an open source Citrix Xen fork. However, it also contains all the libraries for doing the backup. They have a backup API, which means we have tested it, and you can definitely use our own Citrix hypervisor module to also do backup of XCP-ng. That's pretty new, and we have tested it, so we can guarantee that it's working. Yeah, then we have the ref, we have the KVM, and the OpenNebula. However, even if these are a lot, we have even more now because we support Proxmox, no matter what the customers are using, if they are switching from one hypervisor to another one, if they are using multi-hypervisors, the VMware for their productive environment and some open source hypervisor for testing and development environments, we support them all, and no matter what they have, they can use SEP sesam as their choice for backup. And we have the unified look and feel for backup and restore in the GUI as well as in our new Restore Web UI. I will show this later on in the live demo. Yeah, talking about Proxmox, it's based on KVM and QEMU. So from this point, it's a little bit similar to the ref, Red Hat hypervisor, and it's very lean and small, and we have implemented it so that we have a new choice in our menu. You can choose the Proxmox item to have Proxmox online snapshot-based backups with all these kind of features. There are some Proxmox specific topics. They have kind of a provisioning functionality with the Linux containers, the LXCs. We also support backing up these kind of templates for provisioning virtual machines. And we also do use the Proxmox API, and you can restore these virtual machines either from our GUI with the restore wizard and also our web-based self-service restore wizard. Both are possible. Yeah, then talking about Citrix hypervisor support, the single file restore, you can see a snapshot over here so that you can mount the virtual disk, and then you can drill down and browse and then find the files you have to restore, and you only restore the files and not complete disk storage, virtual disks, or complete virtual machines, which was the case in the past. So this definitely reduces the amount of data you have to transport, and you can do much, much faster restores because you only have to transfer the single files or single directories. And the single file restore is possible from the full backup, from differential, from incremental backup. You know that we are using the change block tracking of Citrix for doing incremental backups, and you can do a single file restore from an incremental backup. That's possible. This is, I think, kind of a unique selling point if you compare it to our competitors. We have also a new functionality in the VMware portfolio. We have implemented the sandbox restore. This was something which was a requirement from a couple of projects, especially if it comes to replacing Veeam. We needed this functionality. So we have implemented the sandbox restore. It's available in the web UI as well as in the restore wizard. And you can restore virtual machines, single virtual machines or couple of virtual machines to separate network segments. And this helps in doing restore testings. You can activate the virtual machine without interference to other active virtual machines already. So this is kind of a security feature, in fact, for restoring virtual machines. Now talking about the look and feel in our GUI. The new look and feel is somehow depending also on the new Java 11 and OpenJDK, so the new Java version first. And we have also included the support of OpenJDK now. And this is very important because you might know that Oracle has changed their business behavior. So if you are using Oracle Java for business purposes, it's no longer for free. You have to pay for it. And therefore, we had to also put on the support matrix the OpenJDK. It's working with our new GUI, and this helps our customers to have a separate choice using IBM OpenJDK or Red Hat OpenJDK or whoever is providing this kind of packages. So this is very important after the change of the business behavior of Oracle. Now a little bit of an insight with kind of snapshots. So this is the familiar GUI you might know already with these little icons over here. Sometimes customers were complaining that it might look a little bit out of date and old-fashioned. We hear this from time to time. And lately there was a customer who was telling me, oh, this looks expensive. I've never heard this message before. However, it was quite funny to have this feedback. However, when I have shown the new layout to them, they said, okay, now it looks much more modern, much more comfortable. It's more easy to use, more intuitive. And we have pretty new icons for all and everything, not only the main selection and the shortcut menu on the top. We have new icons, and this was definitely necessary, especially for the 4K resolution, because now the icons are somehow separate and they can scale depending on the resolution you have on your monitor. But you will see it in the live demo later on. These are a lot of details where we have changed things in the GUI. We have put on hands on almost every dialog box to work on the buttons and have corporate style all through the complete GUI. We have some new reports. That's also something I will show you in the live demo, especially for our MSPs, because we have reporting for licensing now based on the location, so that you can have separate customers and you get the licensing reports filtered by customers. So this is very important for the MSPs. Yeah, then we have the data stores, and there's also a complete new layout. We have this little bar which shows the usage, how full is your disk storage, and this kind of information. We have new table views and tree views, and you can select the view. This will also help to have the right information in place, and that you have fast and easy overview of your data. You can see that we have also transported it to the dashboard. It's a pretty similar view. Here the example for the usage of the disk storage. We have also the bars over here. So it's all in sync, our dashboard, our web UI with the GUI we have. Yeah, also talking about the web UI, you know, our restore assistant, this was something pretty new in our version Crawler. And you know, it was restricted to file restore. I mean, this helps a lot, and it covers maybe 80% of the restore requirements. However, it's not the whole world. So we have enhanced it now significantly so that you can do a restore of almost every hypervisor we support. KVM will come a little bit later, but all other hypervisors are already there. You can see that there is also the Proxmox hypervisor, and that we can have Proxmox restore also from the web UI, and Copano as well as part of the web UI already. But we will exchange it in the future more and more. There will be the databases as a next step. So it will be enhanced significantly. But this is an important step to have VMware, also the sandbox restore included here in the web UI. We are now talking about email reporting. This is a topic where lots of customers, I have to say, and partners have complained about our mails, which were looking a little bit out of dated because of their purely ASCII format. And as we have integrated a new HTML engine in Growler already, which is called Riehm, this HTML generator can create whatever report you will like. You can adapt the reports. You can create your own reports in an HTML5 format. And you can also put these reports, this HTML formatted mail, so that the mails now look way better. The look and feel is better. You have the colors and you can easily see if there have been errors somewhere in the jobs. You can see here is the backups with error. There's one error in the backup. Now you have a red bar over there, a red title, and you can easily see if everything was fine or if there have been errors. And this is just a little extraction of the reports you have available. There are much more reports. Some of them are already in the mails. Some others are uncommented. You can easily activate them. We have prepared some templates for new reports about the use tapes and some other reports. So you can see the power of this reporting engine Riehm, and I will show you a little bit in the graphical user interface in the live demo later on. Yeah, then we have changed also things in our Active Directory and LDAP configuration. In the past, with Growler, we have released this functionality, but there was a restriction that it was only possible to have one Active Directory source and one LDAP source. And it turned out in a couple of projects that this is not enough. Sometimes they have several domain controllers, several Active Directories at different locations and branch offices. So we have enhanced this functionality so that we can configure now several Active Directory and several LDAP sources. Yeah, just to give you a little overview of our Beefalo release plan, what's coming next. It's not completely committed now, but it's a very valuable draft so that you can see what we plan to release in next steps. And this is the functionality, what we have already talked about. And then later this year, Q3, end of Q3 maybe, we will provide a service pack with some additional functionality. So we are currently implementing the Nutanix AHV implementation to have the 8th hypervisor. So Nutanix with VMware and Hyper-V is already supported. You can use our Hyper-V or VMware module because it uses the standard APIs like the vStorage API for doing VMware backup on Nutanix. We have customers running this combination. However, the Nutanix AHV with the Acropolis management interface have a separate backup API, and we are providing this kind of module now. Then we enhance the Catalyst functionality. Today we can write via Catalyst to the backup target, to the StoreOnce, and we can do the restores and delete backups and manage the backups. However, with the next version, we can also do Catalyst copy, which means you can write to different StoreOnce, have the replication from one StoreOnce to the next StoreOnce at another location. And if you do it via the Catalyst copy interface, this has the big advantage that the backup software has knowledge of the replication, that there are a copy of the backup data, and that we can directly restore from this replicated backup copy. The backup software has knowledge of this replication. So this is very important. And also the Cloud Banks interface, which is the functionality of the StoreOnce to have a copy of the data in deduplicated form in the cloud via S3 or to Azure. So this is kind of a similar functionality we already have in our software with our own deduplication. You know that if you are using SI3, you can replicate from an SI3 deduplication disk storage to S3, to AWS, to a software-defined storage, or whoever provides an S3 interface. So this is possible, and this is similar functionality with the HPE StoreOnce. Then talking about Microsoft SQL Server, in enterprise customer environment, it's necessary that you do not only support the active-passive configuration of always on, they also have these active-active configurations, and we will implement this kind of functionality. It will be pretty similar what we have done already for the Exchange DAG backup, the data availability groups. Then you can choose if you would like to backup from which node, or if there's an active node not available, should we do the backup from another node, and all this kind of functionality, which we will implement also for the Microsoft SQL Server. Talking about HANA housekeeping, if we have a backup from SAP HANA, there's a retention policy, and if this retention policy has expired, we will delete the backup. This is an important functionality, that you have space available for new backups. However, HANA does not have any knowledge if the backup software is removing any backups. With the backend interface, HANA has knowledge if there is a backup, because it has to trigger the backup. So in the catalog from HANA, there are all the backups mentioned. However, if we delete a backup, we have to be in sync with the HANA catalog, and we will tell HANA that we have deleted the backup, and then both catalogs are in sync. Client update from GUI, it's a requirement from our customers. And as you can see, we normally listen to our customers, we listen to our partners, and we are trying to collect all these feedback and implement necessary functionalities. We are very flexible in this kind. And this was a requirement of several customers, that they have an easy possibility to update their clients. So we will implement in a menu, just a little menu item. Click on this item, and all the clients in your environment will be updated at once. So this is possible. It's very comfortable. It's easy to update everything. We have also new icons where you can see if a client has to be updated, if an update is available, and all these kind of things. However, in enterprise environments, they sometimes do it different. So for them, it might be a horror scenario if you do update of all the clients, and they all need maybe access to the internet to download some packages. So they might have a repository, test the updates, and then roll out all the updates to their environment. So these are different approaches to the update scenarios. And as we have implemented the single file restore for Citrix hypervisor, for KVM and ref, it's pretty similar. So we can enhance this functionality to KVM and ref. And also we will implement the authorization of single virtual machines. That's also important for, especially important for our MSPs, to have separate permissions for virtual machines, so that each customer can see only their virtual machines and restore only their virtual machines. Then we have the automatic proxy VM, which means that we do not have to prepare a specific virtual machine for doing single file restore. We can automatically create it from a downloaded image, attach the virtual disk, and then do the single file restore. And after that, remove this proxy VM, and then it's kind of transparent to the user. It's kind of an automatic process then. This is now the latest hot topic, that SAP will offer a solution for doing backup of not only Office 365. We can also backup Salesforce. We can backup G Suite. These are such huge benefits for these kind of customers. And we provide a cloud-to-cloud backup and restore functionality, so that you have a copy of the data. If someone uses Office 365, they have decided to go to the cloud, to transport and keep all the your data, personal data, in the cloud. So it definitely makes sense if you say, hey, a backup of Office 365 is from one cloud to another cloud, so that you can make sure that you have a copy of your data if something happens to Microsoft or Microsoft Cloud and whatever. So it's the responsibility of the user of Office 365 to make sure that you have some copies of your data, and do not rely on Microsoft, because Microsoft only keeps deleted mails for maybe a couple of days. There are no SLAs agreed, so you have to have a backup, definitely. Yeah, if you look at it at a more detailed view, the responsibility of Microsoft is only for the hardware, network, and so on, all the application and the basic environment. But everything which is on top, creating the users, the data itself, the administration, it's all responsibility of the customer. And there's also the backup responsibility for the customer. And why would he do this? It's necessary because the responsibility of Microsoft only takes care of some sort of failures. If the hardware, software, network, and so on has a failure. However, if there are human failures like deleting a new mail just by chance, and programming errors and external hackers, ransomware, all these kind of things. If a ransomware will encrypt all the data, then your data is encrypted. You cannot do anything about it. So it's necessary to have a copy of your data. Yeah, so this is an overview of the functionality with Office 365. It's really one of the most complete set of functionality for Office 365 backup, I can promise you. Most of our competitors say or claim that they have Office 365 backup. However, it's not the full truth. If you look at this list of functionality, we can do Exchange Online, we can do SharePoint Online, we can do OneDrive, Groups, Microsoft Teams, public folders, whatever you have in your Office 365 environment can be protected and restored. You have some options: 1-year retention, 5-year retention, 10-year retention, that's all. And everything is working in the background. You have a web UI. It's easily integrated with your Microsoft Office 365 credentials. It's fairly easy and intuitive to work with, I can promise you. Yeah, so also for Salesforce, that's something pretty new to me. It's just the latest information from last week, so I can only show you this slide and promise you that we have all the necessary functionality to do a Salesforce, which also means you have a copy. Salesforce is a cloud-based application, so we can do a backup from one cloud to another cloud to have a copy of your Salesforce data, which is CRM. It's definitely important data like SAP data. It's critical for your company, so you need to have a backup of your data. Yeah, and the same applies to the G Suite. We support the full set of functionality: Gmail, Google Drive, Team Drive, calendars, Google Sites tasks, everything we cover with this piece of software. And this is really great. Yeah, so that's all I want to mention in this presentation. So we will have some little insight into the graphical user interface so that I can show you how it looks like. And of course, I have started the GUI to show you. It looks pretty clean and fresh. And well, just one example to show you what is really new. If you go to task and show the task by clients, that in the past we had this kind of a tree view, yes, and under the leaves you have the servers, and then you have the tasks. Or you can switch to a list view that you have all the tasks in a list form with additional information. And now we have kind of a mixture. Now you have the tree view combined with a table view. You have additional information over there. And if you drill down, you can see now you have the tasks over here. You already have the backup task type visible here, the source type. You can add additional columns. So it's really a mixture of what we had before in 2 extra views, I can tell you. So, however, the table view is still there. If you click on the list view, yes, it's still there. Looks a little bit more colorful because of the icons now over here, and you can easily see what kind of backup tasks you have in your environment. So this is more easy, more comfortable. If you look at the data stores over here, you can see it's more clean. And if you create a new data store, well, yes, there's a new option over here, HPE StoreOnce. If you click this, then it's a Catalyst store. You have to enter the credentials to have access to the HPE StoreOnce. These are the credentials you have to create when configuring the StoreOnce with the StoreOnce console GUI, and then you have to enter these kind of credentials over here. So we have created some Catalyst stores already here in our it's not a demo environment, to be honest. It's a test environment. I have just asked my colleagues to provide me this kind of test environments. Well, yes, and if you are talking about the reporting functionalities, I've tried to tell you, well, yes, you can drill down, and here are the locations. And if you do right click on the location, now you have the location report and license reports, which are pretty important for the MSPs. If you have a unit model, for instance, then you can click on it, and then you will have the license information of this customer in one view over here. However, you can try it. You can also use the root of the complete topology to click on the MSP unit, and now you can see all the locations which can correspond with customers in the MSP case. And then you have the first customer, the second customer. You see exactly how many clients in which level, and this helps really a lot in charging from us to the MSP and charging from the MSP to their customers. Definitely. So this is something pretty new. And I wanted to show you also the new interfaces. And if you look at our Notify mailing interface, you can see that there are lots of new reporting function templates over here. These are the old functionalities. And now we have report backups last sesam day, report backups last sesam day based on locations, or we have last 24 hours. These are all templates. And you can see you have here a command, start report. This is the type of the report, where you have an HTML template somewhere in the installation directory of SEP sesam, and it creates the respective HTML report, and then with the SMTP command, you can send it to the sesam mail account, exactly this HTML report, and you have this HTML mail be sent to this mail user. And as you can see over here, with a new day event, we have some reports already activated. The report backups last 24 hours. Also the report for used tapes and failed jobs. That's already in here. However, you can also have uncomment new reports, so that you have really possibilities to configure it a little bit. You can also adapt these templates. It's not a big deal of work. It's not complicated. If you need other logos or other titles or other colors, that's adaptable. Yeah, let's do some little stuff with our new web UI. And over here you can see that's the dashboard. It's a little bit a new view over here. You can remember that with the Growler version you had this kind of peaks over here, and now you have these bars. So it has changed a little bit. And if we go to the Restore Assistant, you can see now that's the full-fledged functionality with the hypervisors. And if we do a restore, it's just working intuitively. Let's do a restore from some simple files of this backup server. It's the GUI fix 64, sorry. And let's go next. And now just doing some from the test backup. Select the test backup. Here we have a test backup which is stored on the StoreOnce on the Catalyst. Let's just use this so that you can restore from the StoreOnce. Yeah, and then click next, and now you can drill down a little bit find all these tree information and then just select some file, maybe a bug file. I don't want to interfere with the activities of my colleague on this testing server, so I have to be careful what I will restore. Let's go next. And now I say create new version. I don't want to overwrite his file. So let's go next. And now you can see there's the overview of all the options you have selected. And now start restore. And now the restore is going to start. And you can easily have also access to the log files. Yeah. Oh, that's pretty fast. Okay, and let's have a view on the log file. This is the information of this restore task. And now show log file in new window tab. And now you have a new tab in your browser, and you can see the log file over here. This is the main log and the SMR log with all the details of what has happened during the restore, and which is pretty helpful. I think it's very nice to have. You can download the log file, you can change the view, so wrap text if it's a little bit smaller, that you have this kind of long lines wrapped or not. You can also download it completely with all files and zip in your environment, or you can easily mail it to, as I've seen from the previous dialog box, you can easily mail it to our support. So all the important log files will be collected into one mail and will be sent to support. And that helps a lot, because normally our support is asking, oh, if you have a problem, please send us this log file. And then you have to collect this log file on your own and send it to support. And this can be done via this button. So I think this makes life very, very easy. So that's just a little overview, and to give you a little bit of impression of what's the new GUI like and what's the new functionality and how it is integrated into our software. If you have further questions, don't hesitate to contact sales@sep.de. Thank you. I wish you all a pleasant day. Bye bye.